Well, here it is, guys. A review so epic that it's just me sitting here talking about it, probably in a vague sense for the next minute before we go into in-depth with no spoilers. And trust me, no spoilers. But we will get into some that may sound like spoilers, but they've already been given away as things that you already need to look out for. So keep that in mind. I feel like just sitting here is a far cry from conveying how epic this movie really is. And if you're curious as to what I think about the original Blade Runner, I am saving that review for a later time. I have something special planned for that. But in short, I did love Blade Runner, but it wasn't until later. But I wanted to look at this film by itself as a possibility a film could stand on its own even though it is a sequel. But let's talk about the trailers because that's where this whole thing started. The teaser trailer, to start off with, gives you imagery, set pieces, and a voiceover narration of Harrison Ford speaking of what a replicant is, a benefit or a hazard, and what Deckard was like back in a time when life was simpler. It's a slow burn trailer, which is what they should have rolled with in the future installments of these trailers, just saying. But I mean, hey, it's gorgeous in color and themed in a way that kind of pops out at you. And to get into the first trailer itself, we get a first glimpse of the villain and an idea of order and keeping it. You have scenes, yes, but it's the music. Oh, the music. It really gives you a feel like this is Blade Runner. Like, there's a lot of passion that's going into this, but the downside is that it's showing off a lot of action. And I just have this feeling that that is what people are going to go into. Oh, it's going to be an action type of film. Okay, I can get into this. But the second trailer slightly gives you clues of the plot, an idea that Ryan Gosling is a Blade Runner hunting down replicants like Deckard did. And our villain is talking about how he can only make so many replicants along with having the lock, and the Gosling character has the key. And Gosling claims that he found him, but that could only mean that Ford's character is going to be an integral piece to the story and that it'll start a war. It conveys the typical mumbo-jumbo of action happening here, there, everywhere, but I feel like with these trailers, that action is going to be few, far, and in between. That's what Blade Runner is. It is a film noir. It is a slow burn. It is a spectacle of imagery of sorts, not an action thing. And that's what the trailer, since trailer 1 to 2, that's all they've conveyed. But now, we're gonna get into the film. The moment you've been waiting for. From trailer to film. Let's get into this. Wow. To tell you anything about this, comparing the trailers and the scenes that I've seen to what I experienced from those scenes and telling you what they're like could be regarded as spoilers. And you could look through all of these trailers and get a feel from all of it, and you more than likely would be right. But to kind of give you some context, and here's the plot on its face value. It takes place 30 years after the events of the first movie. Replicants are still around and unfortunately discriminated against, even though they're integrated in that today's society. Kay, played by Ryan Gosling, is Kay, and he's not to be mistaken with the Agent K from Men in Black, so don't you start.
I never worked in a funeral home. There's something I can do for you, Slick.
But he works as a Blade Runner, retiring older rogue model replicants, and he stumbles upon a mystery that sets him for the rest of this movie, or should I say, in a slow-burning, eye-popping, deeply ingrained world-building plot we see unfold in front of us. And if you think I'm being vague in the details, you're right, because some reviewers are smart not to give away too much. Others could give a shit less, and I'm sorry, but there are too many people that will twist your head off just for saying out one plot detail outside of seeing the movie itself. Kay is a Blade Runner that stumbles upon this interesting mystery, and the best I can tell you is the pacing is just perfect enough for me to follow. Only once did I get lost in everything that was going on, and only once did I get confused as to how someone got where they wanted to be, but within a couple of minutes I figured it out, became enlightened, and went back to this experience of a lifetime. As I said before, the scenery, pops, the feeling of a world being lived in. And it's not that I wanted to live there. I mean, no, heavens no. But it's the fact that we were even given a glimpse into this world is why I love it so much. You felt like you were a part of it. You felt like you were invited in. Not that you wanted to be there, but you were there for the ride, you were just visiting, and it was a pretty damn good visit. The cities are big, and it feels like it's been there for centuries. In realism, it hasn't, but it feels that way. And I really gotta tell you, the story, it doesn't feel like a sequel. I mean, I know what others are saying, that they're recreating something that happened only once, lightning in a bottle type thing, but this shows how much that lightning in a bottle is appreciated. Showing an expansion of the story, utilizing its characters in the best way possible, it makes you wonder, when is this person going to show up? When are they going to be involved? How will they be involved? Will you get answers? But the answers you speculated for years don't impose explanations they think is best. In fact, they still tease the opportunities of further development. Funny enough, as I continue to think about this film, it stuck with me. I can't get it out of my head. Scenes to continue to this moment are still popping out at me, and I'm sorry to say, to point out any one of these scenes like this one, or this one, all add aesthetic and tone with minimal dialogue. They're hard to get out of your head. I do have to say this, the trailers do lie to you a bit. They pull the action into the trailers when this isn't an action-packed movie. In fact, it's aesthetically pleasing with character studies and depth in between. The action pops when it needs to and it flows very well. It's loud and intense. The very beginning of this film, which is this scene, is one of my favorites. I love the raw aspect of the moment unfolding before you. You get to know Gosling's character enough to know how he operates. The action is quick, brief, and intense. That goes for all the action sequences, except for one in particular, which I will get to. Harrison Ford as Deckard is in it a lot more than I expected, but he is in the third act of this film. And I liked how he was portrayed. I loved what they did with his character. And I gotta be really honest before you get all upset. I'm not spoiling anything. I promise. I'm just helping you set your expectations. Which is actually really important for you to know because even Scott came out and said that this would be happening. So it's really supposed to be no surprise that he's only in this for the third act. So this is very much Kay's investigation. What he goes through is seen through his eyes. Mostly. But by this scene, I would have to say I did kind of worry about a few lives in the balance. It's very tense. It's a turning point. But I was very worried. Yeah, worried. In the end, guys, I really hope that you don't think I gave too much away, but this review is actually kind of difficult to level with you. Many of the scenes in the trailers made it out to be this action-packed extravaganza, and it's not. It's a slow burn, as I've been saying throughout this entire review. As for flaws in this film, I feel that there's a few plot lines you can kind of pluck out of there and go, I could have done without that. Where was that supposed to go? I didn't really see much into that one. And I felt like they could have done without them. But even though without them, I feel like there would have been something hollow if I imagined this in any other way. But like, for example, stuff with like Kay's girlfriend, I felt, while interesting, could have been done without in the extent that it was presented. Other moments dive into spoilers and you know I ain't about that. But I loved Blade Runner 2049 from opening scene to end scene. I know some people compare it to the merits of the first film. I don't. I'm only comparing it with the merits of the trailers that you've seen, and I can only say that you've been slightly lied to. Just to an extent. Every scene is bristling with color schemes, aesthetically pleasing set pieces, an intense storyline that I feel that was fitting for a sequel to Blade Runner. And for that, I loved Blade Runner 2049 and would buy it on Blu-ray. What did you guys think of Blade Runner 2049? If you haven't seen it yet, let me know what you're hoping for. Whatever you thought or think, let me know down below. You are all the reason why I make these videos, so if you can, give this video a like, I greatly appreciate it. Subscribe if you enjoy what I'm doing here. I review new and upcoming seasons, even the old ones, movie reviews, and universe reviews that set up a mythology. Check them out as you see here. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, until next time.